porque nos llevaron hasta el cárcel y no hicimos nada. Nosotros estamos bien tranquilas con las compañeras, estamos trabajando bien. ¿Y por qué nos hicieron así?
That is not what we set the clinic up for. The clinic was to remain as a 24/7 for anyone in the community that needed to give birth.
Ellos dijeron, las sacamos a las 3 personas de una manera violenta de la asociación, en cuanto no fue así.
It's so ugly, so unfair, and so dangerous. And nothing illustrates that more than an incident that has just recently happened.
For more than 25 years, Maya Midwifery International has worked hand in hand with Maya midwives in Guatemala. Together, we built something rooted in trust, mutual learning, and a shared mission: to improve maternal and child health outcomes by preserving, developing, delivering, and promoting indigenous Maya midwifery.
The midwives had organized back around the year 2000, right after the peace accords were signed in Guatemala. At about this time, in the United States, Judy Luz, who is a midwife from Vermont, and her husband became involved with a group called Guatemala Watch. Among them was a couple from the village of Concepcion Chiquirichapa who wanted to give back to their community, wanted to go home, wanted to do something to improve the situation there. They wanted their own place. They were thinking very small, and it occurred to us that, why not have a place that would live up to their dream? Something substantial that would have everything that they needed for a successful birth center. Let's pursue that and see if that's possible. So in the course of, trying to raise funds, she was introduced to James Carbone, who is a nurse with a master's in public health.
I got involved in 1999 when I met a man by the name of Philippe Ixoc and his wife, who were in the state. I was told by a friend of mine that they would be at Harvard giving a talk about their need for a midwife center because the mortality rate of women and babies in that area was pretty high. So I went to Guatemala, and we looked at a piece of property, and they had raised some money, but they didn't have enough, so I wrote a check, and we bought that, and that's where we started the construction.
After years of partnership, we discovered that the trust we had built was being misused. In 2023, we faced deception, exclusion, and actions that forced us to reevaluate our collaboration with ACAM. What we thought was shared vision had become something else.
In 2021, we were finally able to have someone from our organization at the birth center, and he began to hear from the midwives that they were being abused, that they suspected financial mismanagement from some of the members of the Junta Directiva.
Well, in 2023 was a very sad year for me because I had been involved visiting the clinic every year for years. And particularly the 3 women that I mentioned were very close. So at that time, I felt I needed to go to Guatemala, that I had a lot of questions that I needed answered.
MMI asked for the intermediary assistance of the legal representative of the MAM area to ensure clear communication, Spanish to MAM translation, as well as to uphold all human and indigenous rights.
And within an hour, they were all crying and said that they were sorry, that they had taken the money, that they were sorry for being mean to the midwives.
A consensual agreement was made that the 3 midwives would resign from their positions instead of paying back the missing money.
At that time, we thought it was 1.5 million quetzales. As it turns out, when we had an official audit done of all the books, it was 3 million quetzales that was unaccounted for. That day that we were leaving the center, and that they had admitted their wrongdoing, and we thought, okay, they would leave and that would be the end of it. But unfortunately, that's when things started to go really haywire.
Over the course of 2 years, 5 vehicles had screws put in the tires, 1 vehicle had the bumper damaged, 1 vehicle had the tire slashed, and the main vehicle of the association's brakes were tampered with. Additionally, the midwives received verbal threats, employees were tailed, and shots were fired in the air, and worse, an attempt was made to burn down the house of the midwife president.
Mi nombre es Ofelia Agustina Hernández López, soy comadrona por 38 años.
Mi nombre es Felipa Vinice Hernández Cabrera. Yo soy comadrona desde hace más de 11 años.
Mi nombre es Débora Vázquez y soy comadrona.
Mi nombre es Celia Leticia Romero López, soy comadrona.
Mi nombre es Tomasa Lucía López, soy guía espiritual y comadrona.
Yo me llamo Santos López Romero, mi trabajo es comadrona.
Mi nombre es Maritza Vázquez López y soy comadrona.
After coming to an agreement with the 3 midwives, and still reflecting on the relationship we had shared with them for over 20 years, we parted ways and hoped that we would be able to put the matter behind us. But it didn't end there. After the initial threats to our safety and security, they continued to retaliate through legal means, fabricating false tales and paying off corrupt lawyers and prosecutors to spin cases in their favor. This unjust legal battle has now lasted over 2 years.
Ellas, durante todo el tiempo, pues ellas no se han quedado con el brazo cruzado, pues nos han estado atacando de todos lados. Ellas en su momento, cuando ellas se fueron, ellas de una vez me lo advirtieron, que esto no se iba a quedar así.
The 3 midwives turned to powerful connections, misinformation, and paid favors. They targeted the 5 Maya midwives who were democratically elected to the Directors' Council of ACAM, using the legal system to have them wrongfully detained.
Pero no sabemos nada que va a venir la policía a traer nosotros, por eso yo me sentí algo malo porque quedó un dolor de mi corazón. Sí, yo me sentí mal y un dolor de mi corazón. Lo mismo ahora cuando yo pensé que voy a ir en la clínica, yo voy a trabajar. Yo me sentí mal.
¿Por qué hicieron a nosotros así? Nosotros estamos trabajando bien, estamos felices con las muchachas, las que están con nosotros. ¿Y por qué me llevaron así de una vez con la mano? Como que soy un delincuente, como que soy una persona mala. Eso sí que no me gustó eso.
These women were jailed and humiliated publicly, without cause, without justice. Through legal support, MMI helped the truth come to light. The assistant prosecutor deliberately and premeditatedly concealed the documents proving the innocence of the 5 midwives, leaving only the complaint filed by one of the 3 midwives that left in the case file. The judge declared lack of merit. The midwives were released, but the damage had been done. Despite their current freedom, the birth center, the vehicles, and the assets were not returned to the 5 ma'am midwives, but left in the hands of the 3 who now claim that ACAM is a private business and that they are the principal owners. This injustice has already cost 2 lives. 3 days after the arrest, a young mother and her baby died during childbirth in the community of Tojcon, San Martin, Zacatepecas. Arya Mom. This young woman sought prenatal care at the ACAM birth center during her pregnancy. However, was unable to seek labor and delivery care from the ACAM midwives due to an incredible injustice and intrinsic corruption in Guatemala. But we are not giving up. Now more than ever, we see the real importance of our work. We must continue this impact.
Lo que a mí me gustaría es de que ayudaran a todas las comadronas para poder tener capacitaciones, pero capacitación que hemos obtenido por MMI nos ha ayudado mucho porque hemos visto lo teórico y lo práctico y lo que se está viviendo con las pacientes. A la diferencia del Ministerio de Salud, solo nos dan solo una partecita.
Es de admirar porque MMI, ellos han dado como un apoyo incondicional a las madres embarazadas.
Sería bueno que siguieran dando más capacitaciones. Eso es lo que a mí me gusta, aprender más.
We are beginning again with strength, clarity, and purpose. MMI is no longer affiliated with ACAM. This is our new beginning, grounded in the same mission: to protect Maya midwifery and bring care where it's needed most.